Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Back to 12 podcast. And in today's video, we'll discuss Texas Tech announcing the 2023 Hall of Fame and Honor class, including 7 former letter winners and the late, great Mike Leach. But if you were excited to see Mike Leach being honored, simply like the video. We will run through all 7 of the former letter winners and then what Texas Tech athletics had to say and their release of the information that Mike Leach would indeed be honored. But as you can see at the bottom of your screen, a list of all 7 of the letter winners. And we'll start in the order that Texas Tech released them in, starting with Gonzalo Escobar of men's tennis from 2008 and 2012. He is a former 2-time All-American who played for men's tennis, as I mentioned, from 2008 to 2012. He is only one of 3 Red Raiders to compete in both the NCAA singles and NCAA doubles championships during his time in the Scarlet and Black. And when you look at it, he finished runner-up nationally in doubles with his teammate in the final season for the Red Raiders. So Gonzalo Escobar is the first one. Then you move on to women's tennis, and you've got Kathy Carlson, who was on the tennis team from 1984 to 1988. Carlson joins the 2023 Hall of Fame class, according to the Texas Tech Athletics website, after a storied career appearing in all of the Texas Tech record books, including the winningest player in program history with 224 overall victories. Congratulations to Miss Carlson on that front. Then we move on to golf, where we've got Kim Kaufman, who throughout her career, golf was one of those sports that I was always interested in. Little sidebar here. And I would always hear about Kim Kaufman when it came to women's golf, right? On the men's side, you'd hear about some players. Obviously, Ludwig Aberg is the guy that we talk about the most right now. But Kaufman almost feels like the Ludwig of years past, at least in that conversation, as she recorded 15 top 10 finishes during her career, including 7 top 5 finishes. She's truly one of the greatest women athletes that Texas Tech has ever seen. So it's great to see her get into the, Hall of Fame right now. I mean, and shoot, from 2009 to 2013, she was dominant, but 2012 to 2013, the year before I went out to Texas Tech, she had 7 top 5 finishes alone that year. Just absolutely dominant stuff. So congratulations to Kim. The next one is Greg Lowry of men's basketball in the early 70s, 1970 to 1972. He played 3 seasons for Texas Tech basketball, averaged 19.7 points per game, and finished with 1,476 total points. He's a native of West Palm Beach and started his collegiate career at Oklahoma Military Academy before transferring to Texas Tech. And he actually owns the Texas Tech single season record for points per game, which is 24.5. So congrats to Greg Lowry on that front. We move to football, where Matt Wingo of the late 80s, early 90s is going to be in there. He's legitimately one of the best linebackers that Texas Tech has ever had. Definitely in the top 5. I mean, he is just unbelievable in terms of the accolades that he has. 2-time all-conference linebacker back in the Southwest Conference days, racked up nearly 400 tackles during his time in the Scarlet and Black. And really, when you look at him, he's remembered for that, obviously, but again, earned all Southwest Conference honors following both his junior and senior season. Truly one of the best linebackers and just defensive players that has ever rocked the Scarlet and Black. Then we move on to our second from last Hall of Fame inductee, who is Jason Young for track and field back in the late 90s, early 2000s, 1999 to 2004. A native of Dallas, Texas, was a junior Olympian in 1999, before arriving in Lubbock. And then he went on to have one of the most decorated track and field careers on the men's side that Texas Tech has had, right? A 2-time All-American, truly one of the best there is. And yeah, I mean, the cool part about this is too, in the release that Texas Tech put out, and I didn't realize this, following his Texas Tech career, he actually stayed in Lubbock as the Red Raiders strength and conditioning coach before making the U.S. Olympic team in 2012. How cool is that? So really cool stuff for Jason Young to get in there. The two big names, however, in terms of the Hall of Fame class and the honor class are Kliff Kingsbury and Mike Leach. And it feels almost appropriate that these two go in together. Again, Kliff Kingsbury is one of the most relevant figures in Texas Tech football history, not only because of what he did on the field, but because of what he did as a coach for the Red Raiders and just really being that guy when Texas Tech needed him most to step up to the plate and take over the football program when maybe he wasn't ready, but he did the best he could after the just really disgusting act of Tommy Tuberville leaving Texas Tech. But you look at Kliff Kingsbury, he's being inducted as a football player, not a coach, but as a football player to the Hall of Fame. And I mean, just reading some of these things, as y'all all know, Kliff Kingsbury went on to set 39 school records the next 3 seasons as a starter, as well as 16 different Big 12 marks and 17 NCAA FBS records as well. He recorded more than 12,000 passing yards, over 1,000 completions, and really was the guy that got the air raid started for Mike Leach. And Mike Leach is where we go next, as he will be inducted into the Hall of Honor class. He will be the only one inducted. And for those that don't know, what's the difference between the Hall of Fame and the Hall of Honor and everything like that? It's pretty simple when it comes down to it. The Hall of Fame is strictly reserved for athletes. It's that simple. The Hall of Honor is people that have impacted Texas Tech, whether that's a coach, administrator, whatever it may be. That's what the Hall of Honor is for. And Mike Leach finally gets his just due. The winningest coach in program history, the inventor of the air raid, a revolutionary when it comes to offense in college football, often tried to be imitated, never duplicated. Mike Leach changed college football and helped Texas Tech get into a national relevancy conversation that they had never been in before. And yes, the ending wasn't exactly what we wanted, but when it comes down to it, I'm the kind of person that likes to talk about the positives, and Mike Leach is one of the most positive and well-respected coaches, not only in Texas Tech history, but in college football history. And I said he revolutionized the game. I think that's almost an understatement. Every college offense, except for maybe Army, maybe Navy, is running some semblance of the air raid now. And he's the reason why. 84 career wins in 10 seasons as the Red Raider head coach. And he finally get his just due into the Hall of Honor. Truly one of the greatest college football coaches of all time in terms of his impact on the game. And his impact at Texas Tech can't go unnoticed as well. Because, again, think about the guys that he impacted. Think about some of the guys that played quarterback for him. Kliff Kingsbury, Sonny Cumbie. I mean, you've got Simmons, Cody Hodges. You've got so many guys that played quarterback for him. And not even to mention the guys that coached under him, like the Lincoln Rileys of the world. Obviously, that's the big one. But guys that went on and really just continued to spread his message in terms of the air raid and change and revolutionize college football. It's really cool to see his first quarterback in Kliff Kingsbury go in as a player and Mike Leach go in to the Hall of Honor as well. So I thought it was really symbolic. I thought it was a really cool gesture, and it's awesome to see. Again, like the video if you're excited to see Mike Leach be honored. And again, the Hall of Fame class is right there on the screen below, but I'll read it off one more time for you. You got Gonzalo Escobar in men's tennis. You've got Kathy Carlson in women's tennis. Then you've got Kim Kaufman in women's golf. Then you've got Kliff Kingsbury in football. You've obviously got Greg Lowry in men's basketball back in the early 70s. Then you've got Matt Wingo in football, late 80s, early 90s. Jason Young in track and field, late 90s, early 2000s. That's the Hall of Fame class, the 7 former letter winners. And then you've got Mike Leach being honored in the Hall of Honor class as the sole member of this class for 2023. That's going to do it for me, though. I'm RC Maxfield, reminding you, if you want the latest in Texas Tech news and rumors all year long, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button to stay in the know right here on Texas Tech all year long on the Back to 12 podcast channel.